We are now going to leave India and go to Burma, or as it is now called, Myanmar. Our first stop will be the capital city of Yangon. From there we will travel to Bygone to see the thousands of temples, and finally to Inle Lake. Our first stop in Myanmar is the capital city of Yangon. Yangon used to be called Rangoon under the British rule. In Yangon, we visited the Kalawaya Monastery and Nunnery. We first went to the nunnery.
You have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have one brother and two sisters.
And you?
I have one sister and one brother.
The nuns showed us around, including their dormitory where they lived. Normally the monks and nuns would go out into the community to get food, but on special occasions, or when somebody donates a feeding, they are fed in the monastery. The monks, then the nuns, all line up with their rice bowls. They are first given a big scoop of rice. They then get several small containers with more food. We got to participate by handing out the other foods in the little containers. Many children in Myanmar become monks or nuns for about a month. This is considered a normal part of a child's training, teaching religion as well as humility and values. They live, work, and beg for their meals as any other monk or nun would. The Chowktachi Pagoda is a monstrous reclining Buddha that's several hundred feet long. It is believed that if you build a shrine, you get merit credit for your next life, not only for building it, but for each time someone visits and worships at the shrine. The soles of Buddha's feet are covered with symbols representing 108 special characteristics of the Buddha. The famous Bygone Pagoda has achieved iconic status like that of the Statue of Liberty or the Eiffel Tower. It is a huge complex of temples, and to Myanmar Buddhists, the most sacred shrine in Myanmar. The huge 320-foot-high stupa in the middle is covered in gold. Surrounding the central stupa are 12 small shrines corresponding to the 12 zodiac signs. We each brought flowers to leave at the shrine corresponding to our sign. As part of the offering, you pour water on the guinea pig an auspicious number of times, either 2, 5, or 7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
There are many other large shrines throughout the pagoda complex.
Sunday evening and morning, they come to sweep voluntarily, clean,
This shrine even puts the shrine's Buddha on TV so more people outside can see it. After Yangon, we flew north to Bygone, the land of temples. Bygone is one of the richest archaeological sites in Asia, with its temples, pagodas, and monasteries. Bygone's prime began in 1044 AD, when King Anaratha was throned. He invaded Thaton, a neighboring kingdom, and took all their Buddhist relics, and then immediately started a massive building campaign. By the end of the 13th century, there were 4,446 temples here. Today, there are about 2,230 remaining, which doesn't include brick mounds. In addition, about 300 new temples have been built during the first part of this century, with more Buddhists looking to snare some merit for their next life. In addition to temples, I find it fascinating to visit the produce markets, not only to see all the different varieties of produce, but also to watch all the people. The Bygone Pagoda was built immediately after the conquest of Thaton. It was built to hold the sacred Buddha scriptures looted from Thaton. The magnificent pagoda is thought to be the prototype of all other Burmese stupas.
And this is the poster is traveling Buddha. And in our country, we don't want to keep the traveling Buddha at home, except the travel agent, because if we keep the traveling Buddha at home, one of the family member has to travel always, and our family cannot meet each other. So we don't keep the traveling Buddha at home.
The Ayeyarwady River runs around the peninsula that is Bygone. It not only is a source of water and transportation, but also washing and farming. Teak is a big business in Myanmar, so it is quite common to see barges with teak logs. To get a better view of this vast area with so many temples, we decided to take a sunrise balloon ride. The mist and smoke from the morning fires was still heavy as we took off.
Now we're going to climb up a bit, try and get... The way you steer a balloon is you go higher and lower, and the wind at different heights is different directions. See out the way?
We got a real treat in being able to witness a novocation ceremony, when monks and nuns are inducted into the monastery. The ceremony starts with a big parade. As we saw in Yangon, young children, about the age of 5, go into the monastery before becoming monks for 3 months. Here are the boys that will be inducted as monks. This is a big event in the lives of Buddhist families. All the relatives and friends turn out with decorations and gifts.
Did you?
And here are the girls who will be inducted as nuns. After the parade, the children's hair is shaved off. Quite a traumatic event for some.
And how old is he? Anybody know? 4 years old.
The children are then given their monk robes, and the novitiation ceremony begins, led by one of the monks. The kids recite what they have been learning, and at the end, they receive gifts. Now it is off to see a few of the 2,000 temples. This is the Sulamani Temple, one of the most attractive Bygone temples. There are Buddha statues in each of the 4 cardinal directions. The passage connecting the 4 sides are covered with frescoes. Continuing on to the Ananda Temple, finest, largest, best preserved, and most revered Bygone temple. It has a golden corncob pinnacle rising 170 feet above the ground, with 4 more golden spires rising above the platform. Facing outward from the 4 sides are 4 9.5 meter high Buddhas. All 4 are made of teak, but only 2 are the original from the 12th century. The Payathad Temple is the perfect sunset viewing spot, less popular than some of the other temples, but with the largest upper deck. From here we watched people bringing in their cattle, while the sun set in the haze behind the vast array of temples. Dinner this night was a surprise, and we didn't know what to expect. They staged our dinner and a show at one of the temples. They put what seemed like 1,000 oil lamps around each level of the temple. What an unforgettable scene. Inle Lake in the northeastern part of Myanmar is about 22 kilometers long and 11 kilometers wide. The people are Buddhists, with maybe 100 monasteries and 1,000 stupas around the lake. Most transportation is by boat. The boats used are long, flat boats propelled by a big engine and propeller on a long shaft. There are as many as 17 communities around the lake built on stilts. Besides villages on stilts, they have floating gardens growing vegetables. The floating gardens are held in place with these poles. These people are fishing using these cone-shaped nets. We are now going to take a ride to the south end of the lake to see the Indane Pagoda. From the dock, we have to walk about a half mile to the pagoda, lined with about a half mile of vendors.
Okay, the name of this place is called Indane Pagoda, and is located in Indane village in the southern part of Inle Lake. And the monuments are from the 13th to the 18th century. The central shrine up there with a golden top is from the 3rd century BC, and but the rest are added time to time by the king in the 13th century from Bygone, and altogether 1,054 shrines here.
These shrines can be very intricate. This one even has a wire running to it for a light bulb. One of the famous tourist sites at Inle are the boat races. They staged a boat race for us, and this is our team, the Zoe team. Each boat has about 25 people on each side. Look carefully at how they're rowing. They row with one leg wrapped around the oar. Yay! The Zoe team won! Now we are off to the Jumping Cat Monastery. This is a regular monastery with a nice collection of Buddha statues. But the tourist attraction is the jumping cats. I guess monks can get bored too, so they taught these cats to jump through hoops. We found Myanmar to be a truly magical place and the jewel of our South Asia trip.